Hi, this is Christian Mickelsen, a number one best-selling author, business consultant, and healer. And I'm here today to talk to you about abundance. And specifically in this video, we're going to be talking about the tools of abundance. What tools can we use to massively open the floodgates of abundance into our lives? And these aren't tools for like how to grow your business or tools for how to get money specifically. These are the tools to open up your inner abundance, which is the control system, the master controls for all the abundance that you experience in your life, both inner and outer abundance. So if you want more money in your life, more love, more health, more time, more freedom, more happiness, whatever it is that you want to have more of in abundance, the most important area to focus on is not necessarily all the stuff to do out in the world, although that's important too, but it's really the stuff on the inside. For example, many years ago, I had just got out of a relationship, and so I started dating, and I wanted to get back into a great relationship. I had a dream about what an amazing relationship could be like, and so I started dating and dating and dating, and nothing was really clicking. And after many years of not getting into another great relationship, I found myself just feeling really lonely, and then I felt ashamed that I was single, like maybe there's something wrong with me. And then finally, I started using the tools of abundance to release my angst about feeling lonely and the shame about being single. And once I let all of that go, within just a few months, I met my wife, and we've been together for over 12 years. And we've got three amazing kids, three beautiful little girls. And it's one of the biggest joys of my life is my family life. So now I'd like to share with you what the tools of abundance really are and how I came about discovering and developing them. When I was a little kid, I felt like I always felt left out. I always felt like I didn't belong. And also there was a lot of fighting happening in my family growing up, and it just felt insecure, and I didn't feel, I don't know, totally safe or something. And so that really led me as I grew up in life to always be looking for a way to work on myself, personal growth. And I started studying personal growth stuff as early as, I don't know, 12 or 13 years old, and started reading all kinds of great personal growth books. I remember reading Way of the Peaceful Warrior, one of my favorites, all-time classics by Dan Millman, and lots of personal growth books back in the early days and throughout my whole life. In fact, led me to go to the pyramids with Don Miguel Ruiz and learn NLP and hypnotherapy. I learned to do the work of Byron Katie and actually got to do the work with Byron Katie up on stage at one of her events. And I've studied with tons of leaders in personal growth and healing and all sorts of things to work on the inner game stuff so that I could feel more peaceful and so that I could finally feel accepted and then ultimately loved. And I have to say, it was not an easy journey. And eventually I read a book called Power versus Force by David Hawkins. And I went to see David Hawkins several times and studied with him. And one of the things that I learned from him was muscle testing. In his book, Power versus Force, he talks about muscle testing and how that works. But muscle testing was really one of the breakthrough watershed ways of thinking about things and working on things. And then I went to a training by a guy named Raphael Kushner, who's a great author of many books, including a book called Setting Your Heart on Fire. And he taught a process called Living the Questions, which taught me to, instead of running from the feelings of, things that we don't like, to actually embrace and feel those feelings instead, which was a total 360 from what most personal growth teaches and completely opposite of a lot of what I learned in NLP and hypnotherapy and things like that. Then I met a gentleman by the name of Tom Stone, and he was also used muscle testing, and he used it sort of in a coaching process, and so I learned a lot from him. And he had a technique that was a little bit similar to Raphael Kushner's technique of feeling the feelings. And so I took all of those things that I learned, put it together into a body of work along with one other technique that is a healing gift that I personally have. It's also a healing gift that I teach to others, and it's called Instant Miracle. And now this body of work between muscle testing and this process called the peace process, which is a hybrid of what I learned from Tom Stone and Raphael Kushner, on really embracing the feelings that we're feeling and working through them and releasing them that way. And then the instant miracle technique. These three techniques together combined are what I would call the tools of abundance. Because since collecting these tools together and working on myself and using them with clients and using them at live events, the results have been nothing short of miraculous. I mentioned how I was able to get into a great relationship with my wife, and we've been together for, I think, around 12 years now, and we've got 3 awesome daughters. I've made friends with amazing people, and I've received massive amounts of wealth abundance as well. My health has gotten better. Like everything in life, all the good stuff in life that you'd love to have are all available to you. And I really believe that everything that we want, we're the only ones that keep ourselves from having it. When we start thinking that there's something outside of us that is keeping us from having what we want, if we assume that some other force is keeping us from getting the things that we want, then we don't have any power or control over the situation. But if we assume, which I believe to be true, that all of the control is within us, or at least the ability to have massive influence on the results that we want are all within us, and that if we let go of our blocks, our insecurities, our fears, our doubts, our limiting beliefs, things that we think about relationships, things that we think about money, things that we think about health, whatever. We have so much unconscious stuff going on, and a lot of it's unconscious, but a lot of it's in this weird energetic stuff. Things that we just pick up energetically from other people, from, who knows, past lives maybe. I don't even know where some of this stuff comes from, but ultimately it doesn't matter where it comes from. Knowing where it comes from or knowing why we have the problems that we have is the booby prize. Like the real prize is getting the results, making the changes. And so if you want more love, if you want more wealth, if you want more abundance of any sort, you have massive control, massive influence over how much you have. And the governor that's controlling how much of all the good stuff you're letting flow into your life is really these emotional and energetic blocks that can be released relatively quickly to watch the level of abundance in your life soar. The best way for me to explain and demonstrate what these tools of abundance are and how they work is really for you to watch them in action at one of my live events. So here's what muscle testing looks like. So here's what you're going to do. When you do muscle testing, you want a 90-degree angle or a 180-degree angle, or whatever this would be. I don't know. So anyway, you either want it out straight ahead or straight to the side. You also want the arm straight out, not down here, not up here, and definitely not like over here. Okay? Right there. Say yes.
Yes.
Say no.
No.
Okay. I guess on a scale of 0 to 10, how hard am I pushing on your arm?
3, 4.
3, 4.
Yeah.
Okay. I would say more like 2 or 3, but Say, my name is Sarah.
My name is Sarah.
Okay. My name is Alfredo.
My name is Alfredo.
Use the same amount of holding either way, and pusher, use the same amount of pushing either way. And this clip shows the peace process and how that works. Okay, now that you've seen what the tools of abundance are and how they work, I'd like to pivot in this video to you personally and what's going on in your life. And I've found that one of the most powerful areas of abundance that affects all the others is love abundance. And I've found that love abundance impacts all the other areas of abundance. When my wife and I first started dating, and I was no longer in this space of like needing love, needy for a relationship and all that stuff, and I was just much more centered and peaceful, I found that my business and my personal income just started taking off as well. And so I really believe that, if you can heal and release any blocks to love, it's not just about personal relationships with someone else, although that can be enhanced dramatically if you're in a relationship right now, but there's a lot of turbulence in there that you'd like to smooth out, then this work will absolutely help with that as well. It can help with all sorts of relationships because the key is you. So my wife and I had been doing this work on ourselves for years, but it wasn't until we both took the love abundance assessment that we could see where there were blocks that we couldn't see before. Like normally with these abundance tools, we will use them as a way like, oh, I notice a little angst about something. I'll work on it and I'll heal it using these tools. And so unless something actually pushes a button for me or for my wife, we weren't necessarily working on it. And with these abundance assessments, especially with the love abundance assessment, we could actually pinpoint specific areas where we were very abundant or where we needed more work to get even more abundant. And it turned out that out of all the abundance assessments, my wife's scored the lowest in love abundance. And I just broke my heart because I feel like, oh my gosh, I love her so much and everybody loves her so much, and yet she just wasn't experiencing all of that love because she had some blocks. And once we found out that her scores were low, we immediately started doing work to release them and up her number, and it dramatically enhanced the quality of our relationship and even more the quality of her overall life, because it was affecting not only our relationship but her relationship with her parents, relationship with her friends and families. When you can make a big shift in your level of abundance on these abundance assessments, it can make a huge difference in the quality of your life. And again, changing one area will change all areas. So be sure to take the love abundance assessment while you're here and see what your score is, and then let's track it over time, especially once you start using these tools of abundance in your own life and you can see the progress that you're making. Now, if you've been around the world of personal growth for a long time and you've learned lots of stuff and you've tried lots of different tools and techniques, and maybe you've had some progress but not as much progress as you'd like to have made, or maybe they didn't even work for you, I just want to let you know that these tools are so different. They may seem similar to other things you've tried or other things you've heard of, but they work in a way that is so deep, so permanent, so transformative, and so healing. It's unlike anything I've ever seen. And like I said, I've been around the block, I've studied a lot, I've studied with a lot of gurus, and all those trainings I've learned are all fantastic. There's just something about how these tools work, especially how they work in synergy, that's unlike anything else. And the proof is in the pudding ultimately. So I look forward to you using all the tools of abundance for yourself and integrating them into your daily life so you can see just how powerful they are and just how much more abundant life can be. How much more centered, peaceful, loving, confident, happy, and just all around your best self that you can really be. I believe that we're all infinitely powerful, infinitely creative, infinitely resourceful. But we don't always show up that way because of our own insecurities, our own fears, our own doubts. And the more of that stuff we clean up and get out of the way, the more the quality of life just goes through the roof. And of course, you start attracting all the people, things, situations, experiences that you want into your life. I also believe that success is inevitable if you're willing to do the work. If you're willing to do the work out in the world to get the things that you want, and if you're willing to do the work on yourself, then whatever it is that you want, whatever goals you might set for yourself, whatever you decide to create in your life will absolutely come to pass. It just becomes a matter of time. And how much time will it take to get where you want to go? Well, it depends on many things. It depends on how much action you're taking in the world, how much you're working on yourself, and just divine timing. But you can have anything that you want. And with these tools, it just becomes so much easier and so much faster. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please leave a comment below. Let me know what you found most valuable. Be sure to take the Love Abundance Assessment. And remember, you are infinitely powerful.